here we are. It's been quite an eventful week, both on the personal home front and in the political genres. So Jehovah brought me to Proverbs 24:15. It says, "Lie not in wait as a wicked man against the dwelling of the righteous. Do no violence to his home. For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumble in times of calamity." 17. Do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles, lest the Lord see it and be displeased and turn away his anger from him. 19. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Be not envious of the wicked, for the evil man has no future, and the lamp of the wicked will be put out. My son, fear the Lord and the king, and do not join with those who do otherwise, for disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both. These are the sayings of the wise. Partiality in judging is not good. Whoever says to the wicked, "You are in the right," will be cursed by peoples, abhorred by nations. But those who rebuke the wicked will have delight, and a good blessing will come upon them. Whoever gives an honest answer kisses the lips. Prepare your work outside. Get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. Be not a witness against your neighbor without cause, and do not deceive with your lips. Do not say, "I will do to him as he has done to me. I will pay the man back for what he has done." So there's a couple things in here that I know were specifically from me, um, in regards to my son being murdered. Okay. Hold on, let me throw a filter on. Let's see how that does. By the way, it's coffee. Mm, yum. Let's see, what can we do? Like 30 of these. Let's get it going. Okay. Ooh, those are not good by any means. Goodness. This one's gonna be the one. Let's see. Okay. So first of all, I want to say, um, the scripture that he brought me to, it was two of them first that got me even looking at this page in the Bible. It says, "Partiality in judging is not good. Whoever says to the wicked, 'You are in the right,' will be cursed by people and abhorred by nations. But those who rebuke the wicked will have delight, and a good blessing will come upon them. Whoever gives an honest answer kisses the lips." Now, I don't know about the rest of the world. I know me personally, I am so sick of being lied to. I am so sick of being lied to. I literally cannot stand a liar. I can't stand a liar. I can't stand a spineless person, someone who's just goes with the flow and floats around and says to everyone what it is they want to hear. I can't stand that. I feel like you can be civil and you can be respectful, but you've got to have a spine in your body. We are not in the reality of anything goes. We're in a reality where there's a lot of danger around, and someone needs to be honest about that. Okay? The second thing was, it says, "My son, fear the Lord and the king, and do not join with those who do otherwise, for disaster will arise from them. For disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both." So I thought it was interesting that God included himself with the king, because I've always heard fear the Lord, fear God, and don't be afraid of anything else. But right here in Proverbs, it says, fear God and the king, right? Fear God and the king. Watch your mouth, right? Because you don't know what the king has planned for you. But it also goes on to say, for disaster will arise suddenly from them. It doesn't say disaster might, it says disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both. So disaster could come from God or the king, okay, the person that's leading your people, our people, right? So there's a warning, there's a strong warning there. So we can't get rosy colored glasses and be like, oh, everybody is moving in peace and love and light. No. It says right here clearly that disaster can arise suddenly, and that's very, very intense. Suddenly means unexpectedly. And it's very clear here in Proverbs that it says, have a healthy fear. Have a healthy fear of that. No, you don't go around, shutting down and completely disconnecting yourself from everything. But you do need to be wise and understand that there is a certain kind of power that is held by a king and by God, and that they do have the power to create disaster. Okay. So let's go to the top. 15. Lie not in wait as a wicked man against the dwelling of the righteous. Do no violence to his home. For the righteous falls 7 times and rises again, but the wicked stumble in times of calamity. So that right here, Proverbs saying you need to be careful who you're plotting against and who you're going after. I personally wouldn't even spend any time on plotting and going after anybody right now. I personally would be plotting on getting my finances together and my home together and my family straight. Right? Because anything outside of your home, when you start worrying about and plotting and planning, your home's being neglected. The home fires are unprotected. You understand what I'm saying? But right here it says, lie not in wait as a wicked man. So heaven is deeming you wicked when you're going around running after and trying to destroy righteous people. And a lot of times we make a judgment and assume that someone is wicked, not understanding that they might be righteous. Okay? And end up screwing ourselves and putting ourselves in a position where now heaven is upset with us. Okay? But it says, do no violence to his home, for the righteous falls 7 times and rises again. So listen, they could be caught in something, they could be caught up in something, but their heart is righteous. And God may deliver them, right, and bring them back out into a right standing with him, and now you're in trouble because it says the righteous fall 7 times and rise again. So they do fall into stuff. Righteous people do fall into stuff and make mistakes and make poor choices, right? But they do get back up. They do get back up. But the wicked stumble in times of calamity. So what he's saying is you may make a judgment on somebody saying, you know what, this person is not righteous. And praise God, because he's corrected me too. I have to be careful about my judgments about my son and different things, right? About my son being murdered. I have to be careful about that. I cannot judge people, right? Because he's saying right here, you don't know if that's a wicked person you're judging. It may be a righteous person you're judging that's caught up in something, right? And you go and do these things to this person, right? Well, he's saying the result with the righteous is that they'll get back up. Whatever you did to them, they'll get back up out of that. But you will stumble in times of calamity, right? Because you've been deemed wicked for going after somebody that's righteous. And then it says, do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles. Okay, so when I see people that possibly were behind killing my son, I have to be very careful and not go, yay, I'm so excited they're getting in trouble. It's very hard. It's very hard to not be angry and resentful and want revenge for my son's murder, right? When I tell you I'm a mama bear and that was my baby and my heart and the love of my life as far as people and souls and energy, not in a weird way, but just how he viewed life was so cool to me and so beautiful. And to see that snuffed out without cause or prejudgment or greed or whatever, it is very hard for me not to want the people that hurt him to die. Straight up. Okay? That's real talk. And God's been working with me on that. Okay? He's been working with me. And he's healing me and he's helping me to understand that his divine will takes precedence over everybody and everything. And I have to trust him that he knows what he's doing and that there's purpose in my son's death, which is the hardest thing in the world. Because I was raised, not in the hood, but around hood people. Around hood people. And In the 80s and 90s, revenge was let's go shoot up a block. Let's go take a life for a life, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. And God has been working with me and humbling me to shut it down. But the reason why it says is lest the Lord see it and be displeased and turn away his anger from him. So what happens is when you sit up and you get into a happy place because someone died, or listen, it says when your enemy falls, okay? And that's a warning to several people in this election process. Watch how you're talking, watch your mouth. You understand? It's souls that are extremely affected by this election process either way. And in my opinion, based off of what I'm reading right here, you need to be quiet. You know, you need to not take personal attacks. You need to not be gloating. You need to be quiet. It's a tragedy. America is tragic right now. It's a tragedy. Okay? Because half of this country is absolutely devastated, and the other half of this country is absolutely gloating and super excited and very demeaning to the other half. And the fact is, we are Americans, and this is America, and we live here together. And we need to be respectful of each other. We need to be respectful of other souls and their mental health. Okay? On both sides, we need to be loving. We need to be resolute in unifying our country. We do not need a divided country. Divided we stand, united. Divided we fall, united we stand. Okay? And what it's saying clearly right here is do not rejoice when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles. So if your energy is that right now, and you're upset with a fellow American to the point you consider them an enemy, you need to be very careful right now, because it says, lest the Lord see it and be displeased and turn away his anger from him. Okay? And no, I'm not saying he's mad at anybody. I'm not getting in that. It's none of my business. It's none of my business. I'm just observing, and I'm seeing one side is gloating and the other side is devastated. And both sides are American. You understand? Okay. Then it says, fret not yourself because of evildoers, and be not envious of the wicked, for the evil man has no future, and the lamp of the wicked will be put out. What it's saying right there is, if in our spirit, in our soul, we are out here worrying about what someone else has and how they got it when they're wicked, when they're not just people. And it's disturbing us and putting us in a place of uncomfortableness, right? We need to look at that. It says, for the evil man has no future, and the lamp of the wicked will be put out. So just because they have those things does not mean that all of that will come to an end. Will not come to an end. It will come to an end. He says, and the wicked will be put out. It's very serious, okay? And then it says, we get to that, what we just studied, which was, my son, fear the Lord and the king, and do not join with those who do otherwise, for disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come upon them both. Okay, so the only thing else that I would say in that verse is, it says, do not join with those who do otherwise, meaning those who are not afraid of God and who are not afraid of the king. Don't join yourself with them. Then it goes into partiality in judging is not good. Okay? So you need to just be quiet if you're making a judgment. You need to just be quiet, as opposed to you're worried about someone's feelings so you don't make a proper judgment, or you're worried about offending people, or, and so you don't make you cannot be partial. Okay? You have to say the truth. Okay, so it says, whoever says to the wicked, you are in the right, will be cursed by peoples and abhorred by nations. Listen, you cannot tell people, oh, yes, you're in the right, if they are not. It's better to just keep your mouth shut and don't say anything than to sit up and lie and convince somebody that you're correct. It's very important that you don't get caught up in that, okay? It says, but those who rebuke the wicked will have delight, and a good blessing will come upon them. If you have the courage to stand in the face of wickedness and say, this is wicked, don't do this, there's blessing in it. It says, a good blessing will come upon them, and you will have delight. So you don't have to be scared to tell the truth, okay? And it says, whoever gives an honest answer kisses the lips, meaning when you're telling the truth, because I am fed up with the lies. I have heard so many weird lies presented as truth, and I am over it. Do not come to me and say nothing to me that's incorrect and try to convince me that it's the truth. I am not an idiot. I know what truth is, okay? And I can weigh and judge just like you, okay? It says, whoever gives an honest answer kisses the lips. Man, it's so refreshing when you have someone tell the truth. And I mean the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, not a perception of truth, okay? And then we get to 27. It says, prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. Listen, you have got to be solid in your work ethic. This is something the Lord's been humbling and working me with, is that you have got to get your work together. You have to have your finances in order before you go buying a house, before you go building your house, before you go attempting to establish yourself in your home life. You have to have a work ethic. You have to be willing to work. I'm 54 years old, and I'm not excited with the prospect of working like that. But we have to get in our mind that in order to have things, you have to work for them. Okay? It's very important. You cannot just have things handed to you. And I'm learning that in my older age, and it's painful, but it's a fact. Okay? And the last thing is, be not a witness against your neighbor without cause, and do not deceive with your lips. See, there's a lie there. There's the lying again. Do not lie about people. Do not lie on people. It says, do not deceive with your lips. And also it says, do not say, I will do to him as he has done to me. I will pay the man back for what he has done. Listen, we cannot be revengeful. These are two things that cause toxicity in our lives. We're bringing toxicity in. We have to be willing to, one, tell the truth. The theme here is tell the truth, have a healthy fear, have respect, right, for others as well as yourselves, right? Have work ethic. These are all great things to ingrain into our souls, okay? So I'm not steering you in the wrong direction. The Holy Spirit's not steering you in the wrong direction. The Holy Spirit's speaking to me as well as you. I got a lot of things I got to get in order, and I definitely believe it starts with yourself first before you start getting into other people's business and whatever. And if you are with consciously spreading lies, check yourself. If you are telling someone who is obviously moving wickedly that they're moving in a righteous way, you're lying to them. Okay, and that's what was addressed today. Don't do that. If you don't like what they're doing and you don't have the courage to stand up to them, just shut up. You know what I'm saying? Don't go in their ear and go, yes, you're doing everything correctly, blah, blah, blah. That's a lie. Okay? Respect the king. The king has the ability. It says right here, it's very clear. God says, listen, I'm warning you. Don't go against the king. Don't go against me, because both of us have the ability to create let's look at what the word said. A disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both. He's saying they both have the potential to destroy you, so watch your mouth. Okay, and another thing he's been bringing into remembrance in my spirit was when he was telling the Israelites, listen, Nebuchadnezzar is coming from Babylon. Don't run to Egypt. Stay put. Go into captivity and you'll be okay. If you fight against it, you will not. You'll die. So I don't know what direction the U.S. is headed to. Um, I do know there's a significant change coming. I do know that our borders are about to get locked down. How we know that is because that's what's been said. Okay. When our borders get locked down, it's been predicted through Ellen G. White, through the Adventist Church, that that's when things become a problem and it becomes very scary in America. I don't know about all of that. All I know is at this point, get yourself together, get your family together as well as you can, get prepped up, use wisdom, right? And understand that what America looks like today is not what America is going to look like next year. It is going to change and it's going to be significant change. I am not afraid of it. I trust God and I know that He's got me, but I do know that we can't move around dingy and not prepare for change. It's always wise to be ready for change. And it says right there very clearly, suddenly. So that's an unexpected and quick change, okay? It says disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, having a sitting president that is actually not even all mentally there is just as offensive, is equally as offensive. We've got a serious issue with America. Our leadership, period, has been very, very shaky for the last 4 years. Anybody can acknowledge that. This is not a racist thing or, that I'm on one side or the other. I'm saying that having a sitting president that actually wasn't fully present for 4 years, a lot of damage has been done to our country. And we have to realize that. We have to understand that. And, the last thing I would say is God is in control and He will fix what needs to be fixed. And it is in His hands. He definitely said in the Bible that He signs off on leadership, that someone can't be king unless He gives them approval. And it's not always a good king. Israel always had all these crazy kings, and then they'd have one or two good ones, and crazy kings, and then one or two good ones. So, it's for lessons, it's for edification, it's for I can't like completely determine why He puts different people in position of president for our country, but I will say that definitely the leadership for our country for the last 4 years has been, to say the least, lax. And I'm disappointed. And I feel misled because I was told that this person was coherent, that they were actually leading and making decisions. And all I hear is babbling and nonsense coming out of this man's mouth now. So, I trusted my future in that man's hands as far as saying, okay, that's the president. He's going to step up and make some decisions. And, I'm excited to see what he comes with and whatever, not saying who I voted for or anything, because I'm an independent. I don't have any party. I'm an independent. Just to be clear, my voting record is independent. I choose who I want and who I feel is supposed to be president. But, to be deceived at this magnitude just absolutely blows my mind. It blows my mind. And nobody's even looking at that. Everybody's in their feelings about all this other stuff. And they're not even looking at our sitting president is literally going into the early stages of dementia. And that is crazy. And I don't want to make fun of him or anything. I'm sitting here like, what the heck? How is our country being ran and who is actually running it then? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And I'm not mad at that man or anything. Like, I understand he was trying to stay loyal and do a job, but wow. That's like being on a ship and the captain is just like unconscious. Where's the ship headed? What are we doing? That's crazy. So, anyways, stay prayed up. Just understand that God's in control. No matter what has gone on this last week, please don't sit in your feelings, because when you're in your feelings, you're easy to control. And that's, you don't stay rooted in fear. Healthy fear is one thing, and I understand, because this is what it says right here. My son, fear the Lord and the King, and do not join with those who do otherwise. So we can't run around fearless and not in reality. There's a lot at stake and a lot going on in our country. But it says, do not join with those who do otherwise, for disaster will arise suddenly from them, and who knows the ruin that will come from them both. And on that note, God bless y'all. Stay prayed up. Definitely stay connected to the Father. Um, I love you, and I wish nothing but peace and love and light and joy in your life. King Jesus. King Jesus. God over everything. God over everything. Jehovah over everything. Period.